Hi, this is Luke from Ion Sport, and today I'll be showing you how to sync your time clock in SportsFocus Analyzer to your video and gameplay. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is open SportsFocus Analyzer. We're going to open it under localhost. Once you've opened Analyzer, we're going to open a previous session that we set out in a previous video, which is the Your Team versus Opposition Team Round 1. Going to click on that and open it. Once you've opened your session, to edit the session, you simply click on the tree space over on the left hand side where the name of the session is. Right click on that. Select Edit Session, which will bring up the Edit Session window. From here, this is where you can sync your game clock under the content window. So we're going to click that now and open up the channel sync window. Okay, so in here, this is where you set your periods or halves for the game, and you set your offsets for the game clock using real time and game time. So a quick note about the way that time works in SportsFocus is that we have two clock counters. The first being real time, which is when the actual game kicks off, being 7:30 at night, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, whenever that occurs. And then there is game time, which is the time on the clock during the match. So obviously the first half starting at 0 and working up to whenever it finishes, and the second half starting again at 0 and working up to whenever it finishes. So using a generic template here, I am set with just period 1 with the short name P1. So the first thing you need to do is set your periods, halves, quarters, whatever it suits your game, you need to set those up. So since we are going to sync a game clock for rugby league this afternoon, we're going to set the period 1 to half 1. And set the short name to H1. We're going to add a session period to bring up a second half, which will appear on the edit session screen. You can see that down here in the corner. We're going to change that to half 2. And set the short name to H2. You can also set up an overtime period if the game goes into overtime. I'll set one of those up now just to show you. Okay, so now we're going to go back into the sync clock game window, and as you can see, we have our half 1, half 2, and overtime periods all set and waiting. So the first thing you need to do is set your first half offset, which is going to be when the kickoff occurs. So to do that, we select Set Offset in the half 1 time marker section, which will open the play channel window just here. Okay, so you need to use this blue timeline to figure out where the start of the half is. So we're going to just work our way through here until we can figure out where the start of the game is. And just before the game kicks off, we're going to pause and set start point, which is in the top right hand corner. This will allow us to set the time, which is changed over here in the play channel. You can see it 53 seconds and 870 milliseconds being the start point for the first half. So that is setting the offset for the game clock. Now to ensure that this works, we need to also set the real time for the first half. To do that, we need to note down this time in the top right hand corner. So you can see that that says 23rd of the 2nd, 2018 at 12 o'clock and 53 seconds with 870 milliseconds. So you need to note that down now. Once you've noted that down, you select OK to save that start point. And then you need to set the period start time for half 1. So we're going to go into here, and as you can see, it says 23rd of the 2nd, 2018 at 12 PM. We need to set that to the correct time. So we're going to open the set button there and change this to 12:53 870. Okay. That will now set our real-time game clock inside the first half to ensure that the tags and the flags that you may have previously set or are going to set, so that they align with the video themselves. Okay. So we need to follow this process and do it for all of our halves and all of our quarters in the game. So we're going to do that now for half 2 as well. Go and select set offset, which will again bring in the play channel. You need to find the halftime break in the middle and whether or not and when that kickoff actually occurs for the second half. So you can see here that they're coming back out again. Set up, we're waiting. Okay, so you can see here that we've got to set the start point again in the top right hand corner. So we set the start point for the second half there at 15 minutes and 185 milliseconds. Once again, you need to note down the real time in the top right hand corner, which this time is 12 p.m. 15 minutes, 0 seconds, and 185 milliseconds, okay? So we're going to take that time, press OK. We take that time again to the period start time drop-down box, select set, and change this time to 12, 15, 185 milliseconds. Okay. So in this game there was no overtime, so we can get rid of that session period by simply pressing the X that's next to overtime. That'll get rid of that from the session period, and we select OK. Once you've completed that, your video is now set and synced to the game clock and real-time clock, so your tags and your flags will all match and be ready to go. I hope this helped you, and thank you for watching.